Shut up and sit down.
So, alright guys, I'm Dodge from Big Mac's Workshop Paint Studio, and I'm with the guys from Mythic Games today. This is Ash and Az.
That's right.
And they're going to give us a demo game of Solomon Kane, which I had a go yesterday. Seems like there's a lot on the board, but once you've played a little bit, this game is really interesting. Do you want to have a little chat about what's going to happen?
Yeah, so obviously if any of the guys watched your video, they'll have a chance to have seen all about the game. So we're going to dive right into the middle of the game. So what we've done here is we've got this 4-chapter act that we're playing to. Solomon Kane, our Puritan witch hunter, has basically been travelling through a town. He was warned not to take the dangerous path. He said, no, I'm going to take the dangerous path. I don't care if travellers are being killed. If a ghost or a demon is haunting them, I want to deal with it rather than avoid it. So we're going to skip through the first 2 chapters. We're going to go right to the midst of the action. So I'm going to flip over this chapter card, of which there are 4 potential ones. We're going to pretend that we did really, really, really well. And we're going to take the one as if we had done...
Just for the sake of the demo.
Just for the sake of the demo, to give you guys a teaser at home. It could get much worse than this, depending on how well we did in the previous chapters. So in this scene, what we have is Solomon Kane in the middle, and an injured traveller who he's managed to get to in time, before anything's happened to him.
We will get images of these models and stamp them on this video,
Absolutely.
by the way, guys.
Around the map, we have a couple of things of worth of note. So first of all, we have Explorer tokens. Solomon, really, his goal for this chapter is to kill the ghost. But first he's got to find it. His secondary goal is to get the traveller to safety. You don't gain anything for getting the traveller to safety, but if the traveller dies, you're going to lose out. You're going to lose victory points and go down a darker path into the next chapter.
Although there is a model here that looks like a ghost, this is not the ghost.
No, this is actually a shadow. It's like a representation of evil. It's kind of all the darkness of the world. This is 16th and 17th century. So this is people with persecution, robbers, bandits, pirates, werewolves, ghouls, demons, witches, all this stuff. And the shadows...
The list of things you could come out with is almost endless.
Absolutely. If anyone knows, Robert E. Howard had 15 short stories. We're going to be doing all of them in the game. So this is based on Skulls and the Stars. So you guys can check that out online, or the other video we did previously to find out more. But we're going to start playing.
Yes.
So we're playing as cardinal virtues. These are part of Solomon's belief. I'm playing as courage, Ash is temperance, and you've got prudence, Dodge.
How I see them is they're almost part of more of his psyche than anything else.
His belief structure, they're things that drive him and motivate him. If he starts to weaken, he loses his strength. If he starts to lose clarity, temperance leaves him, he loses clarity of mind. We're playing 3 players, but you can play 1 to 4.
It's also important to remember, guys, that this game, we're not playing against each other. This is it's definitely one of the games where you sit down with a bunch of mates, get a bunch of beers, and you try to work together as best as possible, and it really does have a good sense of team play and fun.
Yeah, completely cooperative, so we'll get to see a feel of that. The first thing we've got to do in a round is decide who's going to go in what player order, and we decide this every round. So at the moment, our main objectives, if we want to, it's up to us though, are to find the ghost and or get the traveller off the board. Now I have actions on my board which are always there, and we also have decks of cards that form a hand, and we put 2 of these in front of each of us as actions. So I've got a way to move Solomon, but I would quite like to save the Traveller. If anyone has a way to move the Traveller, that would be ideal. I do. You have a way to move the Traveller?
And I have a way to move the Traveller.
So essentially, my personal preference would be to get the Traveller off the board first. We don't have to, but I can only move Solomon through my abilities, so if you guys wanted to go first and second to try and get the Traveller away, I'd be cool with that.
Yeah.
Potentially you going first, you actually do have a slightly easier move.
Yeah, I mean, I've got blanks, I can pretty much roll anything on that one.
So essentially, what you do in your turn, when your turn does start, you take 3 dice, and the dice are custom with symbols to represent faith, bravery, despair, fear, determination, and pain, all these elements of Solomon again. So you take 3 of them. Oh, sorry. I can hold that for you if you want. Give them a roll. And so what we've got in your case is 2 faith and a determination. Now for your particular action to move the Traveller, it's any 2 dice actually, because it's a one-time use card that will be discarded once you use it, so it's relatively
easy. This is something I remember from the you can donate your dice to one of your other players for later use. Now, so I'm going to ask Ash, was it?
Yep.
What do you need for your movement?
I could do with either one of your faiths or your determination.
So, seeing as I've got 2 blanks, I can use any dice. I will give you a faith, because if I remember correctly, that can also be used as a wild dice.
Right.
So it can then be used later on. I shall well, I would put these on here, but
Yep.
I'm about to remove those
You
anyway.
resolve it, yep.
Resolve that, and we will move the Traveller 1 square.
So we just need to get him off the board. So which area do you want to move him into? So he's got sort of 1, 2, 3 off here, 1, 2, 3 off here, or he could go 1, 2 off this direction.
Off the board as soon as possible
Yeah.
is our
So-
goal at the moment.
We'll spin him round, have him running off that way. Perfect. The donation is really important. You may have some turns where you actually purely are donating dice to help the person ahead.
Which we
because
had yesterday.
Yeah.
There was lots of that. I think that's one of the things that gives the team play.
Yeah.
Because some people will need the same dice. Then you've got to work together. Like, well, which one is
Prioritise,
that benefit
yeah.
us most?
Absolutely. And at the moment, courage as a virtue, I am actually present on the board. I want to make very clear, of course, this is a prototype. These will have beautiful, about 80 mil tall minis whenever we're done.
I've seen them. They are nice.
I'll see if we can get you something for that, but you're going to have to watch out the Kickstarter 12th of June to see those in full detail, because we have to hold some secrets back.
Yes, you do.
So at the end of every player's turn we have a darkness card, and that's essentially the darkness message.
Also, the card I've used goes into a discard pile.
Yep. But you do then get to replenish it from your deck, so essentially you can choose from any of these at all to make up your new card.
It's not like other games where you draw off the top.
Yep.
It's an actual hand, which means I'll have a quick look through.
So there's one in there which
do we need light on this quest?
we don't need to, because we've got to our destination, we've got where we need to go, we don't actually need to worry about putting light on future chapters. We've got to where we think the ghost is, so now we just need to find him. On previous chapters though, putting light onto cards is a great way to avoid going down dark paths and ending up in worse situations. So you have an amazing, Prudence is quite supportive, and she has a card which says any other players that haven't gone yet this turn can have a dice of their choice. So that might be great for next round actually.
Roll any number of dice, choose the result of one of your dice, nominate a player, they may take one card, modify any attack. Any player who has not started their turn this turn may add a dice to their reserve. So we'll place that one in.
So that's a real way of, if you start off the game, you could then really support Ash and I with doing whatever we need to do.
That's one of the only times you'll find Prudence going first.
Yes,
in
yeah.
the round, actually.
Prudence is normally cleaning up everyone else's mess.
Yes.
So we're going to do a darkness card. There's 2 sections on a darkness card. Anytime there's evil things near a mortal, we do the top section, and evil things far away from a mortal, we do the bottom. So we've only got 1 shadow, 3 spaces away from Solomon. So it says the shadow.
I love how that it adds a bit more randomness to the game. This game is not a linear, we do this, this and this. These story cards and scenes work really well, and by the time you've got to the end of one scene, you've been so busy working together and you almost forget what your goal was, and then the story comes back in. And I found that a very exciting feeling. It's like, oh, I know why we're doing this now. We're doing this with the villager.
Yeah, you got to keep your focus on your goal and not get overwhelmed by the darkness as it starts to get you. We're quite lucky because we did so well initially that we only have 1 shadow, but this could change fast. So this guy's going to move 1 space towards the closest mortal to threaten him. So he'll just move 1 to there, absolutely, towards Solomon, of course. So it's going to be over to you then. It's Temperance, Ash.
I'll get my dice to roll.
So once you've done your roll, you have the option to re-roll or flip a single one of your rolled dice. Once you've done that, or opted not to, you bring all your dice together into a single pool. What are you thinking, buddy?
So I'm thinking if I flip my pain to a determination, I've got what I need for the move.
Awesome, love it.
So using a faith for faith,
Yeah.
determination for determination, and a wild faith as fear.
And then what are you going to do with this one before you resolve that? It would be great for me because I have a move for Solomon.
I will give you that quite happily,
Yep.
so you can move Solomon.
So I will donate that.
And then I will move the Traveller.
Get him out of
the
there.
board.
Absolutely.
Back to safety.
That was good. Well, so we've saved the Traveller, which means we don't gain anything for that. We just don't lose any because we're at least kind of have the respect of the town for saving him, but we don't get anything. We haven't purged the darkness yet, which is our true goal. We're going to have a darkness card for you then, buddy.
Forgot about that.
Alright.
So nothing for anyone adjacent, that's fine. We then have the shadow that's farthest from a mortal moves 1 to threaten them. Now sometimes you'll hear the word engage, and what that means they essentially attack. So if it's a wolf, it'll pounce on you. If it's a pirate, he'll engage in a sword fight. If it's a shadow, it'll engage you and cause a horrible event to happen. If you hear the word threaten, all that means is they move beside you and negatively affect any test you try and do. So any fighting you try and do, any exploring or talking you do, any shadows around you are going to put pressure on Solomon and make it harder.
And it also responds with the other darkness cards. As you were saying, there's the top and bottom section. Now there is not ghost, sorry.
Virtue? Or a shadow?
A shadow next to you.
Yep.
you'll be doing the top things off the
As
card
well.
as well.
No, it's
and
getting
they're gonna
worse.
Get more difficult.
We've also got a spawn on X here, which means we're going to get a second shadow. We'll be spawning over here. Worth noting, just a quick thing, I haven't really mentioned the tracks too much. Each virtue has a track they're related to. So, for example, the danger one is essentially Prudence's ownership. As danger increases, you can have more and more shadows on the board. Currently, we're okay. We can only have a maximum of 2, but if the danger goes up, we can have 3 or even 4 shadows swarming.
And I remember courage. If courage goes all the way down, this game's over.
The strength of Solomon is depleted and is absolutely gone.
And what was the benefit of
Temperance.
temperance again?
Temperance is clarity of mind, so she's all about that kind of exploring and tracking things, that kind of thing.
Yeah, he's finding the path he wants to go on. In this case, it was chasing a traveller, but in other cases, because we're going to Africa, we're going to England, we're going to France, Germany, so he could be looking for traps, he could be hunting someone, he could be trying to get away from someone. All these things will change depending on the story you're involved in. Cool?
Yeah, that was very cool.
I'm up.
There is a 4th card, but we're not covering that in this video. Just for ease.
Because essentially the game plays 1 to 4 players. So it plays just as well with 1 as it does 4. And we're also looking at other options for player counts as well. But if you want to find out about that, you'll have to come to the Kickstarter on the 12th of June. We can't stretch goals. If we get the funding that we'd love to get with it, we'd love to expand out that player count even further.
You've got to hold something back
Have
for everyone
to.
to anticipate.
Absolutely have to. So I shall start my turn as cards. I have 1 donated dice as a faith. I roll myself another faith and 2 bravery. Okay, so what do we do now? We've got the traveller off. I probably want to get Solomon Kane moving, and ideally what I'd like to do is get him to an exploration token so we can find the ghost.
Yes.
I've also got the option of increasing our strength by 1. We're on 6 strength at the moment. I could get it to 7, which would start modifying our strength in a positive way, which means anytime we attack, we get a bonus to it.
Yes.
But I think moving him away from the shadows is probably a priority.
So if we're going to be exploring, we would want to go this way, away from the shadows.
I'm totally with that. And I'm going to show another element we haven't talked about yet. So if I got my move here, that'll be... Oh, actually, can I do this? No, I'll have to re-roll if I want to do this, actually. Oh, no. Actually, I'll use my instant effect card to re-roll any dice.
Yep.
So rather than just re-rolling 1, I'm actually going to re-roll them all because I really want a determination or a pain. There we go. Now we're talking. And I'll show you why. So I'll use a determination and a wild for my pain. Ready to move Solomon.
Yep.
And then what I'll do is these 2 dice, I'm going to use them to move my virtue because courage is already on the board. And all of us have the ability to bring our virtues onto the board. Again, there'll be minis in the full game.
I remember this from yesterday. You're going to move Solomon that way. You're going to move your virtue along.
Yep.
Because the shadows can't land on those squares.
Exactly right.
If a shadow ends up on a square with a virtue, it is removed from the
Exactly.
board.
Virtues can take out shadows, eliminate them, but the virtues will get taken out in turn. So it's a little trade-off. You want virtues to stay around because they'll give you auras which enhance your tests.
It also costs you dice to get your virtue on the
Back.
board.
Yep. So I will spend 2 to move Solomon. So he'll go 1, and then I've got 2 here which I'll use to move my virtue 2 spaces, so I'm going to make courage along the Solomon space.
Good move.
I am pretty happy with that actually. I need to replenish my card, I'll do that in a second, and we'll get another darkness. So if you want to run through that, Ash.
Yep, cool. So we no longer actually have a shadow adjacent to us because we've walked away, so we just use the not adjacent part. So the shadow furthest from Immortal will move 2 to engage, which will be this one here because it's 3 spaces away rather than the 2. Yep. And then again, the shadow furthest away, so we can't activate this one because it's already activated, so this one will activate. And it will only be able to walk into there. It can't engage as the virtue is in the same space as Solomon.
And that was another thing I learned yesterday. I thought we could only have 1 shadow on a square. No, it can get really crowded.
Yep. If you leave it too long and they build up, it's really bad. The spawn X though, we gladly don't need to worry about because danger is currently on 4. If it goes up to 5 though, we could have a 3rd shadow.
Yes.
So we're okay at the moment. I have a quick question for you guys actually. When replenishing my next card, I have a couple of options. I have a fight, which means if the ghost comes out, we'll be ready to pounce on him and try and kill him. Or I have an explore. We have to explore to find the ghost in the first place. So
I also have a fight 3.
okay.
So we could go for an explore.
How about you go for Explore, and I could put Temperance into play, so that you get my aura as well.
Awesome. This is good. So while my aura helps fight, Temperance's aura gives clarity of mind, which is going to help you explore and interact with objects in the terrain. So that would be great. So we've all gone once, which is the end of the round. So now we can change up the player order. The card you took though, Dodge, for the 1 dice to everybody hasn't gone,
Yes.
probably means we want you to go first if you want to play that.
I think we're going to need some decent dice for fighting. So I'll go first, and I will be playing that. Definitely.
You want to go second?
Yeah.
So keep the same order essentially, because I think this is going to be. It's worth saying the Darkness deck and Events deck can really mess with this. They can change player orders, they can get rid of donated dice. We're going to have lots of horrible effects that can happen that will unravel the best laid plans. So Dodge, 3 dice, sir?
3 dice. Do I play Prudence's ability before?
Always do your dice first, yeah. Always your dice and anything you want to do to them. So you've got 2 Bravery and a Faith. You could do some flipping or changing, but to be honest, I feel like you donating dice out here is probably the best thing we could ask.
Well, if I'm donating dice, then you guys are going to end up with a dice once I use this card of your own choosing. So, again, it's a lot of conversing and working together, and I think that makes it a very interesting Friday night, few beers sort of game.
It's a puzzle you guys are going to have to unravel and work out what's best.
You definitely need a Bravery.
I would love a Bravery if that's alright with you.
I could take a Bravery, you could take the
there's a limit,
Wild.
There is a limit to how many dice you can donate. You can only donate 1 dice per person.
Yeah, and only if they haven't gone that round. So you can't donate dice backwards. It has to be just for that round. I'll take a Bravery, or you want a Bravery and I'll take a Wild.
Either's fine.
Yep. Okay. You can now reserve this and keep it for yourself. So your next roll.
A different section on the board. They would be a donated, and I can just keep that there until I need it later on.
Yeah, because this means whenever you have cards that need 4 or even like 3, 4, or sometimes even more dice, you have to have some form of donation or reserve to actually be able to do them. It requires teamwork.
They count as part of your roll at any point that way.
Yep,
it's like
absolutely.
a bigger hand worth of dice.
Yeah, and are you happy to play your card then for extra dice?
I will play Prudence's ability. All players who have not started their turn this round, which is both of you, may add any dice to their reserve.
I will grab a Bravery.
I'll take a Determination.
I will put that in the discard pile and replace my card.
So you've got a fight ready. So
I've already got a fight.
one of the cards that Prudence has, because she's very supportive, is to modify a track by 1. That could be really helpful for getting the strength up, or if the danger changes, to putting the danger back down.
I do have a modify a track by 1.
Does require 4 dice. It is a hefty cost. We'll need to help you or use your reserve, but if we need it, that could save our bacon. Cool. Okay. So Darkness, I should say, I don't think I mentioned this. If the Darkness deck runs out, if you're not able to draw a Darkness card, it is over. So in each chapter, you will have, again, depending on how fast and efficient you are in previous chapters at times, and how the story is developing, different lengths of Darkness decks. So we've still got a good number left, about 10 left.
When yesterday we were playing, we had about 5, 7, and we really needed to get the Villager out of there and fight a Ghost during that within that amount of time.
It totally depends. What you do early in stories will have ramifications later on. So we'll flip one over for you, sir. We all good?
Yeah, still got like 11 minutes. Should be plenty of time.
So we'll get the Shadow engaging. He can't, that's fine. And we don't need to spawn anything. So at the moment, because of courage, nothing changes. Cool. What do you say?
A couple of dice, please.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. So, I can use anything to actually bring Temperance in.
Yep.
What would you need to do a move and the explore?
To do a move and explore, I would need 5 dice in total. I would basically need a determination, which if you flip this.
Okay. Either or? Why not?
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was it.
Cool, so I will donate you that one.
Yeah.
I will spend these 3 on bringing Temperance into play, and I will reserve that one as well.
Okay.
So I will bring Temperance into play there.
Awesome.
So we'll still be in her aura.
Okay. So we'll do a Darkness card, and then we'll see what that does.
The reasoning for that is we're still trying to move Solomon back to this space, but this will force the shadows to go around, which takes them longer.
Absolutely. So we're going to have 1 Shadow engage as Immortal. We don't need to worry about it. Courage is still blocking. She's also essentially going to stay where she is. And thankfully, we're so lucky the danger is low right now because we're not adding any more shadows. So that's fine. That Darkness card actually did nothing too bad to us. So on my turn then, I've got 3 dice, 2 donated and the 1 reserved from your card. Yep. I'm trying to get a combination of 5 different dice to do a move and an explore, hopefully. I think that will give me exactly what I need actually. Let me have a quick look. Here. And oh no! I'm going to have to do a reroll. So I'm going to reroll. Oh no, I'm going to need either a pain or determination, otherwise this isn't going to happen. Oh no! Okay, now I have a quick think. I'm going to see how I'm going to do this. I might have to move him and then rely on you to explore, buddy. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I'm just going to move him. I can only use one wild on a turn, so I can't do 2 wilds, unfortunately. Which means I'm going to have a bunch of dice
really
left
mess
over.
with the assistance going on. There has to be a limitation to what you can and can't do there somewhere.
I genuinely thought what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to actually move Courage. I'm going to move Courage into this spot and take out both of these shadows and take out Courage as well at the same time.
And Courage would then go back to your board. Sorry, not the board, to your game board.
Perfect. So I'll move Solomon to the Explorer. And I've got some dice left over. I cannot donate them because you guys have already gone, but I can reserve. So I will reserve 2 of them. And the last one, unfortunately, is just going to have to be discarded. So let's see what we have darkness-wise. So we have nothing for close, and then we have a spawn of X. So we're going to have a new shadow join us all the way on the other side of the board. So that's absolutely fine.
That's no threat at all.
So really, we need to explore immediately. Find this ghost because we're running out of darkness cards. So straight for me, Temperance should be the first to go for this next round.
Yep.
That's fine.
You then have a fight of 3.
Yeah, I'm not going to need to go till last at this point, I don't think.
I have a fight. I don't have a fight of 2 is the only fight I have.
Especially with only 1 dice in reserve, and I'm needing a lot of dice for any abilities going last. Could help with donations there.
So let's have you go first this time. I'll go second, and we'll have Dodge, you go third. I think that makes a lot of sense, actually. I like that thought. Couple of dice.
It's a lot easier to pick up than you think. I've only ever played 1 demo, and I'm playing it.
Coming up with ideas and where it's going to flow.
Being involved.
Did you get it? Yeah. No. Oh no. Are you serious?
I need a bravery.
You need a bravery.
So I'm going to re-roll.
A bravery or a faith. A bravery or a faith will give us this. Yes. Oh, flippin' heck. That was too tight, man. That was too tight. So how tests work basically is you have a starting value that's denoted by the chapter. So in this case it's a 4, and if we are successful we'll find the ghost. What we have to do then is add a value to that to make it harder to work out the strength of the test. So it's 4, we flip an event card and take the left hand number. In this case it's a 2. So it's a strength 6 test. Now we look at the card we played. So what do we do, Explorer?
A 5.
A 5. So basically all we're going to need to do is flip this over, take the right hand number, which is usually the stronger number because Solomon Kane is the hero.
This is one bit I still don't fully understand, but a few more games.
Essentially on each card what happens is you've got a rabble number, a villain and sort of a nemesis. So essentially you've got sort of easy, medium and hard. Exactly. But it's not always ascending. They just kind of have that spread. So sometimes the nemesis, the highest number, will actually be lower than the others. It's just generally speaking, it gives you an idea of how strong Solomon should be. So we're on 5, we're trying to beat 6. All we need is 2 on the right hand number. We get a 6, we easily beat it, which means we're going to successfully explore this, which means we have found the tormented spirit that's been killing travellers on the moors. So he's going to join us on the board, which is good because we need to kill him, but he's going to instantly ambush us. When the guy ambushes, we know he's a nemesis.
That's one of the reasons for that is you're sharing the same square immediately.
He was chasing the traveller. We got the traveller out of danger and interrupt his pursuit. He was trying to kill him. So he's going to basically do a test as well. His base is 3 because he's a nemesis, and he adds in 4, so he becomes a 7. We're a hero, so our base is also 3. So we're hoping just to see a 5 or higher on the next number to avoid taking damage. We get a 4, which means we drew, which means we did not defeat him. We're going to lose 1 of our strength. Which is,
you have to do better than the draw. The draw's not good enough.
It's going to slowly weaken us down until we are done, or we get him to 3 wounds and take him out of the game. I'm going to hopefully wound him now. So that was darkness. Oh wait, no, we haven't done the darkness yet actually. Oh no, so he could hit us again.
So the ghost does move to engage its priority target?
Yeah, we are his priority target now. The Traveller's gone. The Traveller was his priority target, but now it's us because of the decision we made. If we had hunted the ghost and left the Traveller, he would leave us and go chasing after the Traveller instead, buying us time to kill him, but we would have to make that decision to sacrifice the Traveller. That's on us. So he's going to strike with a strength 1. We'll add on a nemesis. Only comes to 3, so it's 4 in total. We're strength 3 as Solomon Kane, so we just need to add more than 2. We get it, we get a 5, no problem. So he doesn't wound us on that attack. We need to spawn another shadow and move another shadow. So this guy's going to move up. This one's going to spawn in. So, yeah. Hopefully, Hopefully I can land a wound on him. And if we can just show a single wound, we'll kind of wrap it up there, because I don't want to spoil what happens. This story is only the first half, really, of what this will expand to do. So depending on what happens with you and the ghost, it'll have ramifications in how things finish up in the end. But you'll have another at least 3 or 4 chapters to play through when you play the full session. So I'll grab 3 dice, hoping for some determination and fear. No, sorry, I'm after some bravery and fear.
And you've still got your 2 in reserve as well.
I do have a 2 in reserve, and I'm going to flip this Kane into a determination, which will give me what I need.
Flip. You don't just have to re-roll. What the flip means, you've got to flip the dice all the way around. You can't do it sideways, it's just the opposite.
So Pain's opposite is determination, bravery is fear, and then faith's the other 2 sides, which are the wiles, because they are the core part of Solomon, his beliefs. And out of these 2, I could move him. I actually might move him. I'm going to fight and move. Use both of my actions here. So I will fight first with a fight of 2.
Yep.
If courage was still on the board, her aura would increase my fight by another 2. But because I choose to remove her, we're just using a base of 2. We have to work out how strong the nemesis is. He's 3, and we'll go to 10.
Oh, that's
we're
not good.
2, and we go to 6.
Yes, that's not good.
I'm sorry I let you down, Dodge, man. That was a pretty horrible way that came out. But what I'll do is I'll go ahead and move, get us into Temperance's space. Hopefully we'll avoid an attack this way, and the shadows also can't get us again.
Yes.
Well, that gives you a bit of a feeling of the game.
Yeah.
What we did skip over was some stories, some scenes of talking and interacting with people and exploring the board. It'll not always be fights. Some situations you may have a pirate kidnapping a girl. You might not want to kill him, you might talk him out of it. You might actually engage in different ways. We're going to Africa, we're going to
A lot
England.
of this is actually reflected. There is there is narrative in these instead of
Yep.
them just being stat cards.
They tell you what to do, but they tell you the flow of the story as well. And the idea is that you will unveil this kind of array of chapters as you go, and this is roughly probably about 60 to 90 minutes. This is like one session, but if you want to do a full act in like maybe 2.5 3 hours, you can do that in one session if you want. But we'll have adventures.
I could see that being really enjoyable.
Yeah, awesome.
And I'm not saying that because they're not paying me to promote anything.
No, it honestly, this is we're obviously at V3 Vengeance, an amazing event. It's really a Guild Ball event, but so many guys here love a bit of board games as well, so it's just an opportunity for us to share it with them, and thank you for letting us share it with you, man.
You've been great, guys. Thanks for the video. I'll get the rest of the details, and hopefully with a bit of editing we can clip these boards and these cards into the videos for you, so you'll have seen those. Guys, you've been great for doing
Lovely,
that.
Dodge. Thank you,
very
sir.
much.